Good morning, everybody. It's Marty the JavaScript Friday. It's Friday. Marty the JavaScript Friday. Marty the JavaScript Party, and it's Friday. It is 8/21, 9 days left in the month, and we are there. We are here. It is August. Did I say 9/21? It is 8/21. I think my glasses are a little bit dirty. All right, so I got a bug, and I said we've run into two bugs. And one of them, I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll just do later. And then the other one is like, oh crap, I got to do this now. And funnily enough, if this was a real life production application, or if we were trying to work on a production application, the one that I'm dropping everything to work on would be probably almost impossible to, it would be very, very difficult to get buy-in working on that bug. And the one that I'm skipping to do later would be trivially easy. So let's just it's actually very difficult to even demonstrate the second bug, but the first bug is just really super simple to demonstrate. So I'm going to go to this console, right, and we're just going to clear this console and clear. Okay, so the first bug, the one that I'm not going to work on, is this. I add a visualization, I come over here, I go to update, I go to minimized view, then I leave, I come back, and it's all smushed. I don't think it'd be very difficult to get that one to get anyone to agree to working on this bug, unless it was some a major other thing. But the other bug, the one that I am literally dropping everything to do, is this one. And I'm actually so grateful that I left this in here, this va- valuation thing. So we basically had this initially. We built this out, and then I built a table out where you could see it, and then it was just like, well, what do we need this thing for? And I just left it. Normally, in most jobs, they would absolutely make you leave this. It turns out that this actually has information that my table does not have, because it could tell me what the state is right now at this moment. And the problem with this one is that it does have a viz component, which is number 9, but my visualization thinks it doesn't have a viz component. So the number 9 should be in here. And the problem is then as I'm trying to determine, or as in order, I can determine the position that the left and top position but this is supposed to be in, but I don't have a access to the viz component ID. And since I don't have access to this, um, I would have to go get, I do have information about it, so I could probably get it in some other way very quickly, but this is going to end up being a bigger problem down the road, and it's going to be very difficult to fix in both cases. It's going to be a difficult fix probably, and it's going to be a very difficult, but it's even more difficult to understand the problem. So right now I understand the problem, so I don't want to kick the camera down the camera. I don't want to kick the problem down the road. This will be very easy to understand. There's no coming up to speed on what the problem is. This will be actually very difficult to put in words and all that. So I just want to fix it now and get it off my plate. So, but I could be wrong. Like I could be completely wrong. Maybe that's not a bug. Who knows? But I think that's a bug. So what I have to do is first is that we are on a bug hunt, right? We're trying to understand where this bug actually even exists. We just know it's kind of like we just found evidence of the bug, but we don't actually know what the bug is or where the bug is or even how the bug even or how the code that's supposed to work is supposed to work. Even though I wrote all this code, I don't remember it. So the first step, and probably the most important step, and this is the step that everyone skips, the first step is to just try to understand what the bug actually is. We know what the remnants of the bug are, but so I've come to the conclusion that in all likelihood what happens is when this visualization gets created, it sort of probably publishes out that it got created somehow. That's what I'm thinking. And that something isn't listening for that publish thing. But I could be wrong. But to kind of validate my belief, okay, so I'm going to come in here, I'm going to do this inspect, I'm going to go to this console, and I'm going to clear it. Okay, so we got nothing. We're going to clear everything. I don't know what that zero null is. I'm not worried about it right now. I don't think it's relevant to what we're doing, but maybe it is. Okay, so now we're back and we have one of these. Okay, so, and we know that the last one is usually the visualization, and that the visualization has a knows what the viz component ID is. So it's number 9. So this, and oh yeah, that's right. This hit me the other day that like we're doing such a nice clean job of recycling IDs and stuff now that the next visualization, when this comes up, it'll be ID number 9 again. So it is possible that I am in fact trying to publish it, but the publish is never happening. And that's because um, it didn't change. It was 9, it stayed 9. But then how did it get to -1? I guess is the question. But anyway, so this does not exist when this does not exist. So when you're looking at the table, this doesn't exist. So theoretically, it should be -1 because it doesn't exist. That's kind of like the rule we came up with. All right, so now if I go here, so I'm going to clear this and I'm going to go to this visualization, to that view. And now we go back here again. And this has been updated again. And it's 9 still. Okay, so that's good. That's exactly what we wanted to happen. So let's clear that, and now let's come over here. And now, so we have a visualization of 9 again, but when we look in here, it says that the ID is -1. So for some reason, when we go into the other two views, it updates everything, but when we go into this view, it does not. Don't know why. Don't understand it. Um, but I think that is it. So we have sort of documented exactly what the bug is. This would be kind of like, I think I'm like really, really digging in because typically, professionally, what I would have to do at this point is document the heck out of this thing, right? Um, and then kind of push it back in, and maybe it'll get assigned to somebody else, or maybe whatever, and then try to come up with some workaround. The problem is the workaround is likely to be very, very destructive to the architecture. Um, so But I mean, I don't know. I guess what I would probably do in a professional perspective, professional situation where I'm not allowed to work on this bug, where I have to work on whatever is next on the list, what I would likely try to, my first attempt would be in the Viz component manager service that I have, which I'm assuming there is one, st viz component. I would probably create a function called, let's see if the Viz component. Okay, so all it knows is its ID, but it probably does have a reference to this. Yeah, I don't actually know. I have no idea what I would do to try to fix this in a way that wouldn't be like, you know, wouldn't destabilize the entire application. I guess it's the thing we have to keep in mind. We don't want to destabilize the entire application. Um, all right, so now we know. Okay, so when we come up, for some reason, this visualization ID is not. Okay, so the next step would be, okay, figure out, okay, how does the visualization ID even get set? So probably the easiest way to figure that out, or probably it's probably not the easiest way, but it's the only way I can kind of that I really know how to do it is to look up for that. It looks like I've already done that. So what I'm looking for is, and see, this is a situation where um, this is a situation where when you the unit tests could be very distracting because there would probably be tons of these in unit tests as well. Um, but viz component, associate, delete viz component by ID, associate. What is this? Associate st object. Okay, so this is where I actually put it back into here. So it's weird. It's weird. Like you would think this would have been where we dimension, and it is weird that we're doing this dimension change handler initialized. Okay, so apparently whenever I redraw everything, it looks like I destroy and create a new ID. I think that's what's happening. So then what's this one? Viz component ID. Okay, so this is just the interface that describes it. This is the interface that describes the visualization. This was the interface that describes the component. Set viz component by st component ID. So this is our viz component service. So this is where it ends up creating a viz component. But it doesn't really know anything about the um, um, visualization. See, that's why that gets so confusing. I've been trying to figure out why viz component and visualization get so confusing. And it's because this is the viz component, this is the visualization. Those are two different things. And those kind of got merged in my head. All right, so what I'm kind of looking for is okay, so here's where it gets set to -1. And that's because like like when you leave, like you could have 10 visualizations in front of you, and when you go to the update, you only have one, and all the rest of them are gone. Um, and then here's where it gets set, at least the first time. But it doesn't look like wherever create visualization. I wonder if create visualization, this must get called again. So this is our first hint. This is our first sort of like little signal that it seems like we have um, something going on. Like this, whenever this gets this visualization, well, see, this is creating the visualization. Actually, the visualization doesn't get created, right? The visualization, so that was a false flag. Sorry. The visualization doesn't get created. The component gets created. So that's a good one. So here's where we get rid of it. Stale visualization. Stale visualization. What is this? Find component factory function. If I see the word factory in there, it probably means that I got that code from ChatGPT because I never name anything a factory. Okay, set. Okay, so what is this? Looks like this might be the get first stale visualization. Apparently that just deletes them. I don't even understand what that was doing. Okay, so I have no idea how this even gets set because so that whole path failed me. So basically, just to kind of backtrack, I create this, add it, and then I go over here. This, you just have to take my word for it, but this whole thing gets destroyed and a new one gets created. So for some reason, I can go back and forth between here and destroy these things, and the viz component gets recreated every time. The viz gets reassigned every time, right? So inspect console clear, right? Like if I go here now, And it is kind of weird because the oh well, no, it looks like our numbers are a little bit different. See, so now our visualization is 10. I don't know why. Um, Probably because the order of these things getting created changes slightly depending on which one it gets created in. Um, but see, oh, see, this time our viz component is 11, and if we go to our st visualization, it's 11. And so it was, oh, and oddly enough, we don't even have a 9. So now let's go back over here. So now our viz component is 9. Oh, that's a pretty good hint. Because that is making me think that maybe it is because the viz component number, because it doesn't change, right? Because then when we go over here, but see, if we go over here, the viz component ID is 9. Whereas up here, the viz component ID was, and I don't know if it's still because this was 11. So that was 11. This time it's 9. And now when we come over here, it should be 9, but it's going to be -1. And I really do think there's actually a possibility that it's because this thing stayed 9, and that might have found like sort of a deeper architectural flaw. Um, that if something gets destroyed and then recreated, um, and it doesn't change IDs, then maybe the way I've set things up, it doesn't get ever get propagated. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. But I think the first thing we have to figure out though is how does this get set? And I don't quite understand it because I thought we went through all instances of this and but maybe something gets the whole component and then pulls out the ID. But it still has to set it though. I don't know. Anyways, happy coding everybody. I guess that'll be tomorrow. This one feels like it might end up being like a really long session tomorrow, which which is kind of a bummer. But anyways, happy coding. Have a wonderful day. Bye.